Hello, thanks for joining us again today. Well, today is Wednesday, May the 6th, and that means it's the middle of the week. It also means, many churches would have services this evening, and in lieu of that, of course, there's devotionals and live streaming, all of that. So this devotional kind of serves as our Wednesday evening Bible study, and also, of course, as the daily devotional. So we hope that you're still doing well, and of course, this coming Sunday is Mother's Day. And we want to have a special time for our mothers. And I know there's preparations being made for that. And that'll be a wonderful time for our mothers. Then also, as a way of announcement, our devotionals have been every day, including Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to go to a Monday through Friday format. And, one of the reasons for that is, of course, with Sundays, there's so much going on. Many people, attend or view their own church service, which, of course, is what you should do. So we're going to forego the Saturday and Sunday unless there's a special reason for it, something comes up, and we may do that. But as a rule, we're going to do a Monday through Friday format. Well, today we're going to be in the book of Luke chapter 10. I think this will be a very timely message for us. It serves any time, of course, but I love how God has put these stories in the Bible and how we can relate and say, I know exactly what's going on there. So, mankind pretty much is the same throughout every generation, every time period. And I know there's some events that happen that are different to each generation. But as a rule, the Bible, of course, addresses all of it. So Luke chapter 10, we're going to begin at verse number 38, read through 42. Very familiar story if you've been in church any length of time. But again, with the subject matter, very timely for us today. It says, "Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village." The he there, of course, is Jesus. "And a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. And Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her." So we're going to talk today a little bit about anxiety, because the word there that we look and see, being careful, means to be anxious. And we're going to talk about that. Aren't we all anxious today to some degree? Some show it more than others. And as the subject matter is, the people who are most anxious is not so much the ones who can take one event and be anxious about it and then not be anxious about any other events. As the Lord addressed Martha here, he said the problem or the issue here, Martha, is that you're careful, or you're anxious and you're troubled about many things. Her overall demeanor was that of being troubled and being careful or anxious. And so we're going to address that a little bit today. But if you look at the story, this is one of these where you just don't mess it up and not overthink it. And so it's very simple here. But obviously Jesus came to Martha's house, and she was concerned about putting something before the Lord that would be acceptable and pleasing. She wanted to honor him. She wanted to do the right thing. So Martha being concerned about taking care of her guest is not a bad thing. It's a very good thing, of course. And then, of course, we look at the story here as Martha looks at her sister who's not helping her. She sees Mary over there sitting and listening to what Jesus has to say. And interesting here that Martha goes to the Lord. She doesn't go to Mary and say, Mary, I need your help. You ever been in a situation where, you say, can I see you in the kitchen, or can I see you a moment? Typically, that's kind of code for, I need to talk to you about something. And of course, I want to do it privately. In this case, she went to the Lord and said to the Lord, do you not care that I'm doing all this work, and my sister here, Mary, is not helping me? Interesting here that any of us would go to the Lord and say, do you not care? Now, let's be honest. You may say, well, I've never done that, and maybe you've never done it in the official sense, but I'll be honest with you, sometimes we wonder, who does care when we're in a situation? But the truth is, the Lord does care. And in the situation of Mary here, Mary, instead of helping her sister serve, she goes and sits and listens to what Jesus has to say. And Jesus really addresses that. He said here, but one thing is needful. He said, one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. Now look, meals are going to come and go, and certainly showing hospitality is a good thing. There's no doubt about it. But in this given situation, I don't think Jesus was making the meal the priority. I think what was happening is that Mary wanted to hear what Jesus had to say, and Martha should have made that a priority by saying, I'm going to go do the same thing. So again, Martha wasn't doing a bad thing. The problem is that she was anxious and troubled about pretty much everything, many things. So Martha needed to get that issue taken care of, whatever that is. Now, you look at it and you say, well, what's the remedy for that? Well, I'll be honest with you. One of the things that is a remedy is exactly doing what Mary was doing. She was being close to the Lord, and perhaps whatever Martha was troubled about, besides serving a meal, serving the meal and making sure it was on time or it was pleasing is not really the major issue here. Martha perhaps was just looking at the fact that instead of looking at Jesus as who he is, she was looking at serving a meal and perhaps trying to make sure she got some kind of credit, or at least a thumbs up, so to speak. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if she was troubled about many things and everything in general, then she needed to go to Jesus and find out how she could get some relief, get some help, get some answers even. So that's, we say it all the time as a preacher. I say almost every, in some form or fashion, the walk with God is, you just can't diminish that. Getting close to the Lord, and that's the important thing. So Mary here decided that she needed to go and listen to what Jesus had to say first. I mean, that was the most important thing. The meal could wait. Perhaps Jesus was not even coming there for a meal. Maybe he was coming there for a visit. And Martha just kind of automatically, because guests were there, she said, well, I need to take care of them. But, Martha needed her own self to be taken care of. And that may have been one reason why Jesus showed up. Truth is, Mary may have been troubled about many things, but she said, instead of me worrying about the meal, I'll go to the Lord first and let's see what he's got to say. So, we're all Marthas or Marys or a combination, or even, we go from one to the other. But the story's in the Bible for a reason. We can all relate to it and say, you know what? I get anxious about things. This time we're living in, of course, there's anxieties. But we need to go to the Lord. And when we go to the Lord and get what we need from him, as it said here, Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. Very interesting. What she was taking in, the help she's getting, and the choice that she made, that was very important. So may we learn from this little story here, and may we certainly be more inclined to be like Mary and not like Martha. Again, a lot of people like to serve, and they like to help people feel comfortable and feel hospitable. But in this case, Martha was a troubled person, and she had her issues. And Mary decided, I'm going to get close to the Lord and hear what he's got to say. And Martha needed that too. Don't we all need it? Of course we do. So until tomorrow, if you are going to come back and be with us again, we hope that you have a wonderful day. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Hope your service is wonderful tonight, however you attend it or observe it. And I hope you have a great day.